Hello, welcome to Brian 360 and welcome to my underwater wildlife video recorded at two locations in New Providence Island in the Bahamas. The first beach, the one you're seeing now, is Jaws Beach. It is located on the west coast, about a 45-minute drive from the main city of Nassau, which is located on the eastern side of the island. Given its distance from Nassau, it's not really part of the touristy area. So if you come here, expect a quiet beach with very shallow water, not much in the way of waves, an ideal beach for a family with small kids. As humans, we generally appreciate a nice sandy beach. Unfortunately, where it's mostly just sand, there's not much in the way of food and therefore not much in the way of wildlife. When we head out into the coral areas, that's where we start seeing some of the interesting things. Some of the clips in this video will be shown at regular speed. Others I've slowed down to half or even a quarter speed just to get a better appreciation of what I'm hoping you'll see in this video. So first up, the peacock flounder or platefish. First is regular speed, and then I'll slow it down. You wouldn't know it by looking at it now, but this fish starts off as a normal-looking fish. It then undergoes metamorphosis and develops this flat, horizontal appearance. Its eyes move to the top of its head, and those eyes can function independently, a good way to detect predators. Another way this type of fish avoids being eaten is by rapidly changing color and camouflaging into the background. That annoying glass-like object you see from time to time is the dive case. They came out with a new and improved version about a month after I bought this one. Oh well, bad timing on my behalf. One of the drawbacks of snorkeling is that you have to take a deep breath and dive as quickly as you can. That's what I'm doing here. I call this a starfish, but it's supposed to be called a sea star because it really isn't a fish, so they've kind of changed the name a little bit. There's this bright one. We saw a few others, a bit smaller, a bit darker, but this was the best. Just sitting on the bottom is an anemone. 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 And here's another one. The second beach to be featured in this video is Caves Beach, located on the north central coast of New Providence Island. This beach is given its name because directly across the road from it is a small series of caves which are the home to thousands of bats who are very active during the day, and I assume at night as well. Similar to Jaws Beach, this beach shows just how important coral is in our oceans. Sandy beaches are nice for swimmers, but you need some coral if you want to see some wildlife. Speaking of wildlife, here is a yellow stingray. I thought this was a juvenile stingray, but reading up online and once I identified it, found out that this is the full size. It's about 30 centimeters to a foot in diameter in addition to the tail. For those of you who have seen my other stingray video featuring the Caribbean whiptail, this is quite a different species. This guy apparently wants nothing to do with me and is gone. If only I could find a friend. One of the really neat things about filming with a 360 camera is that it captures everything. I'm focused on what's in front of me, and I'm also recording what's happening, well, right in front of me, and I didn't even notice. So I've found a friend. The stingray didn't want to be my friend, so this guy has taken its place. I tried to identify this guy with numerous fish charts and websites, and I just could not find the species. So he's just my friend. And because he's my friend, he gets a slow motion part of this video as well. Oh, fishy, fishy, fishy fish, a fish that would follow me wherever I would go. That's for the 4 Monty Python fans who might be out there. So this fish is not a magical fish. There is a spot where the fish appears to disappear and then reappear. And that's because of what's called a stitch line with a 360 camera. So he's about to get, there he goes. He disappears and comes back. So you have a front lens and a back lens on a 360 camera. and the software stitches together where those lenses kind of overlap. And you kind of get some strange things sometimes, like a disappearing fish. I like to think that he wanted to be my friend, but he probably just thought I was a small, fat, hairy whale and maybe a source of food or something. Anyway, the friendship didn't last. So, with the fishy gone, I swam on with a heavy heart in search of more friends. They say there are plenty more fish in the sea, and I was going to test that theory and find some more fish to brighten my day. There's not too much to see here. This is just mostly sand and what looks like algae or something. Nothing. Oh, hey, he's back! Fishy's back. Yes, we were meant to be. Don't go far. Come back. Yes, come back, my buddy. And now we get to my favorite part of the video. So my son, the spotter, has done what he always does. He goes off and swims on his own without fins, and he finds interesting things. And he has found a lionfish amongst the coral. So again, I'm having the problem of a snorkeler, where I can take a deep breath, I can kind of swim down and briefly catch what I want, and then buoyancy fights against me and brings me to the surface, as well as lack of oxygen. While certainly a beautiful addition to the wildlife in this area, it is most unwelcome in these waters. A native of the Indo-Pacific area, the lionfish is not endemic to the Caribbean. And yes, I know the Bahamas is technically not part of the Caribbean. I don't want any hate mail. It is an invasive species, and it is thought to have been released possibly through an accident at an aquarium in the 1990s in Florida thanks to a hurricane, or possibly through people releasing unwanted pets into the ocean. With a voracious appetite and no natural predators in this area, partly thanks to those venomous spines on its back, the lionfish is having quite the heyday in these waters. In an effort to keep their numbers in check, in the Bahamas and other islands in the Caribbean, yes, I know, still not the Caribbean, I get it. There are measures to encourage people to capture and kill lionfish to keep their numbers down, if possible. A similar approach is being taken in Florida with their attempt to deal with the invasive Burmese pythons that have just taken over certain areas. The sting from a lionfish can be very painful, with some nasty symptoms including fever, convulsions, nausea, paralysis, just to name a few. In cases with children and the elderly, the sting can be fatal. Just like how I found a friend under the waves, the lionfish has a friend as well. Hiding to the left of the lionfish under the shelf is a shy pufferfish. You can see him when I get in really closely and you stare at the center of the screen and maybe use your imagination a bit. Not a great swimmer, the pufferfish has a few defenses to help in its survival. The first is its ability to ingest huge amounts of water and therefore puff itself up, making it more difficult to consume. If that doesn't dissuade you, it produces a neurotoxin in its skin that is about 100 times stronger than cyanide. I would like to thank rollingharbor.com for all of these interesting facts. I will leave a link to their website in the description below. Go there for lots of interesting information and some beautiful pictures. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, sign up for notifications, and all that good stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.